All right, what is going on, guys? Got another breakdown for UFC Vegas 43. Another banger of a fight here at lightweight. We got two great prospects in Terrance McKinney and Ziam. This one's a pick 'em, and Ziam's going to have a 1 inch reach advantage, 3 inches taller. So I will start with Ziam. So I would say his last performance was his best performance, but there were holes in it. But before that, UFC debut against Don Madge just pushes him up against the fence the entire time. Zion was able to reverse a couple times, but it was mostly just Don Madge. Got a takedown late in rounds 2 and 3, sealed them. Could have had round 1, 2. Probably the most boring fight of all time. Not much to learn from it. But then against Jamie Mullarkey, that was Mullarkey's first fight since that war with Brad Riddell, and he comes in, he tries to wrestle too. And it ends up being a very low output fight, but Mullarkey does rack up a lot of top control, but just throws no strikes. And Ziam doesn't throw a whole lot of strikes either, but he throws more, and he wins that fight. So that was another weird fight, and it was just again hard to see what you got in Ziam, but he does have a good kickboxing frame and a good kickboxing base, and he showed that against Luigi Vendramini. He managed distance very well. He's got a great jab, did a lot of damage without having to land it too much, and Luigi just had a hard time closing that distance. He banks the first 2 rounds, but then in the third, Luigi just decides he's going to walk through the fire, and he ends up clipping him. Once he clipped him, he had him going backwards, and he falls down. Luigi ends up on top, almost gets a 10-8 that would have probably got him the draw or would have gotten him the draw, but Ziam gets up with about a minute 30, lands a couple strikes, just does enough to salt the win away and not give up a 10-8 round. But yeah, it's like I said, it was probably his best performance, but there were still some flaws in it. But at the end of the day, when Ziam is at his best, it's when he can get into a rhythm, he can manage distance, and he has a good frame, good kicks, good jab, and yeah, when he can just keep his opponent on the outside, that's when he does his best work. But it was concerning that Luigi found that hole, um, because I don't think he has killer power. I don't think he has killer counters either. He's definitely still developing, though. That should definitely be noted. I don't think Faris Siam is a finished product, and there's a lot to like. But yeah, I don't think he has a ton of power, and I don't think he has great counters either. But for Terrance McKinney, the tape study won't take you too long because pretty much all of his fights end in the first round. Either he gets taken out or he takes somebody out. And he's had a 4 fight first round finish streak. Hasn't gotten a minute 30 seconds into any of his last 4 fights, including against Matt Frivola, 7 seconds. One of the quicker UFC knockouts. I think the quickest for a UFC debut. They ended up hurting his knee at the end of that, but yeah, way back when, or not too long ago, 2019, he fought Sean Woodson, was winning that fight, took him down, was working for a submission in the first round, had the body lock, takes him down again in the second, but then they stand up. He shoots for another takedown, just gets flying kneed. So that sucked. Gets subbed by Derek Minner, who has good sub game, especially if you're not too well versed in sub defense. But yeah, from there, it's been all up, and he definitely has that killer be killed mentality. Great power, like insane power. Puts Matt Frivola out with one combination. And yeah, he's definitely just gonna try to blitz him and try to take him out early. That's pretty much the only way McKinney knows how to fight. And he's got decent wrestling. I don't think he's gonna use it. Ziam's takedown defense has gotten better, and I think he's just gonna not be afraid to get in the pocket and try to land. And for this one, it's a pick 'em, and I could see why. It's like if Terrence doesn't get the finish early, he might be in trouble. We've never seen him really in like a second round, let alone a third. But I do like Terrence to win. I like him to get the knockout, and I'm probably gonna put a little sprinkle on him to get the win in the first round because I like Ziam. If he can keep the fight at range and just extend Terrence a little bit, he can probably win this fight. But I just don't think McKinney's going to give him a chance to get in a rhythm at all. I think it's going to be the same as he always is. This guy only knows how to fight one way, and it's just to crash forward, kill or be killed. And Ziam doesn't seem to handle that type of pressure well. I mean, Luigi probably looked the best as he's ever looked in that Paddy Pimblett fight. He's got some bad luck, but he was taking chances in that fight. I think if Luigi took more chances in the Paddy Pimblett fight, In the Ziam fight, he would have won that one too because Ziam just seems to have to be in a rhythm. And if he's not in a rhythm, it's going to be a tough night for him. And this is probably the worst guy to go up against if that's going to happen because you can guarantee that McKinney is just going to go crazy in the first round. And I think he's going to be able to get him out of there. But you can probably hedge with Ziam decision. You might be able to get Ziam better live line if Terrance just empties the tank in the first round, banks that round, and then Ziam is down. But even then, Ziam doesn't have a whole lot of volume. You can go back and look at the numbers. He lands like maybe like 6, 7 strikes around in some of these fights. And granted, he's been getting clinched. He doesn't have a lot of room to work. But even in the Luigi fight, I think he landed like 17, 19 strikes in the first 2 rounds, and then like 9 in the third. So yeah, it's low output. Even when he has a great matchup like Luigi, who just couldn't close the distance, he still didn't have a whole lot of output. So I think the money line is good. I think the knockout prop is going to be great, and I think I'll probably hedge with a club and sub, but I definitely think I'm going to make a straight bet on this, and I'm definitely going to make a sprinkle on Terrence in the first round. I just don't see why I can't. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Sure to subscribe and take it easy.